some of it will be contingent on who ends up playing in the game, and that's just the way it is, and that's the way it is in all pro sports. But no, we're expecting a great TV audience this year. This is all part of this overarching strategy that we're creating around. We are going to make this a big CFL rather than a little one. I think we've been very much that's Canadian league. But what we've now seen is this opportunity to really make this a global football league and really be the global football league in the game. And we're hoping that over time will attract much bigger audiences.
To that end, you've struck a deal in Mexico. Do you see a lot of opportunity to grow in that market? Do you see a lot of opportunity to get players from that market into the league? What's your strategy there?
Yeah, so in fact, we now have 12 countries that are part of our what I call the coalition of the willing that have all joined this, and they see us as a true pathway for the very, very best players they have to have an opportunity to come and play pro football. And we've got players in the league right now from Mexico, from France, from Germany. We've got some from the Scandinavian countries. And this coming spring, we're going to have scouting combines all around the world. So we're going to do a more intense effort to find those best players to join the league.
If you're, being honest with yourself, do you think there'll ever be a time where an Alouettes ticket will be as in demand and hard to get as a Montreal Canadiens ticket?
Well, in fact, you don't have to look all that far back that was true. Yeah, you go back to 2010, 2011, 12. That's called the Anthony Calvillo era. That stadium was jam-packed, and it was hard to get a ticket, really hard to get a ticket. And we're not talking about 20, 30 years ago. We're talking, within the decade. Yes, absolutely. We're going to get to a point where a ticket into a CFL stadium is going to be really hard to come by. We still, obviously, part of our strategy is to make this game affordable. So we want this to be in every Canadiens league. And we're seeing today the pressures that you have on the average Canadian family to have a pro sports affiliation, to be able to go to games, because there's affordability challenges. We want to be that league that everyone can be a fan of.
To that end, the oil patch is struggling. How concerned are you about the health of the sports teams you have, or of the CFL teams you have out there? How concerned are you about the audience's ability to attend those games?
Well, you have to be sensitive to the fact that Alberta's gone through a hard stretch here with the energy sector being under pressure. But having said that, two of our best franchises in the league are the Calgary Stampeders, run by Calgary Sports and Entertainment, and the Edmonton Eskimos, one of our great community teams, and they do so much work in the community. They're very accessible in their communities. So yeah, you think about these things, you do worry about them, but at the same time, these teams are doing amazing work at reaching into those communities, putting in the extra effort, building relationships with the fans. So yeah, it's both. It's a worry, but you see how the teams are handling the challenge, and it makes you feel proud.
To what degree did the Raptors' success this year and now the excitement around the new season steal eyeballs?
Well, I don't know that to my mind, I'm not sure I thought about it that way. I actually think what it did is prove the point that, look, of the 2 million people that went to that parade, I'm not sure that half of them know the difference between a double dribble and a free throw, but they were engaged in this big event, this gigantic global happening. We saw the same thing with Bianca. She won the Rogers Cup, and it was a very polite Canadian clap for her. But she wins on the U.S. Open stage, and now she's this national hero. So happy for her. But what it proves is it makes the case that why we have to change the narrative on our game away from small, folksy Canadian to big global CFL. And that's exactly why. So in some ways, I wasn't at all worried about eyeballs taken away. I was encouraged by what it helped reinforce that business model.
Player safety is obviously a huge topic of conversation for everyone in the sports industry generally, but it's particularly a strong conversation in football. And we had Andrew Luck with the Colts, the quarterback, surprisingly retire very young, citing injuries. How was that received amongst the players and amongst the league?
Well, I think in Andrew's case, he's one of the we're truly one of the great talents in pro football, but you have to look at his situation. He was hurt and hurt and hurt and hurt, and a lot of orthopedic stuff, and that just wears on a person. I know myself. I had knee surgery 5 times, and after a while, you're like, wow. I'm not sure this is as much fun as you think it is, but I look back and say it was the greatest thing I ever did was play this game. So much of the success I've enjoyed in my life has come because I played the game of football. Our challenge and the opportunity is to keep forcing the issue of making the game as safe as it can possibly be. And I would argue it's never been safer than it is today. The way it's played, the way the equipment is better. Our players today, the Argonauts behind us are in non-shoulder padded practices. The amount of contact that we have our players go through during the practice week is down dramatically from where it was in my day. We're going to keep forcing the issue and pressing the point. We've got to make the game safer. The rules are changing. You know, we're taking out that head-to-head contact, which has been so controversial, and rightly so. We're working hard on that. So the future is really bright for our game.